Hello, ogres, and welcome to the second episode of Stand for the Fire Demon. Hello, everybody in chat, if there's anybody there. We'll get started right away. I just wanted to give the greeting, and I'm going to unmute everybody else. Say hi, everybody else.
Hi, everybody else.
Lick my horse.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
Horses are gross.
I got the
I don't
horses
know.
in
They
the
taste
back.
good, I think.
Yeah, I'm
Fuck
sure
your Honda
you do
Civic.
get the
I have a horse
horses in the back.
outside.
I got the horses in the back.
I think I'd lick a
Treble's
horse
hosting
for
us.
$200.
Thanks, Treble.
Would you? That's
You know what's interesting is
Not
that
a
one
lot of
horse
money.
does not have 1 horsepower.
How much is a horsepower?
is it like 1.3 horses?
No, if I remember correctly, it was like 3 horse. 1 horse has 3 horsepower. It's kind of weird.
Everyone, and by everyone I mean every one viewer.
Don't be shitty about it, Bucky.
Yeah.
I just looked and I was just like, oh, that's funny.
Treble's cool. Although this is the first time that Treble has talked in chat, so. But to be fair, I don't think I've streamed since she's since I've met her. So. All right. So just a quick reminder: we won't be talking really to chat. We may type to chat, but we won't be talking directly to chat. We'll get started with the story once we're rolling. We're just gonna kind of keep playing until Brandon says that we're done.
We're done.
4 years from now,
Aw.
we'll stop streaming.
It
He's
has
a
to be
slave
little less
driver,
time
that
than that.
one.
I got work in the morning.
Well, your
I don't know,
cam
guys.
is
I got work
really
in the morning
laggy,
over
isn't it?
here. Yeah. There's just not a whole lot I can do about it. I'm running a 1050 Ti, and it just doesn't want to handle any of this.
I'll handle it.
Yeah, you will.
No,
I don't think he could.
you don't know me.
We know enough about you to know you couldn't handle it.
Oh yeah.
Good. You just don't know.
All right, Brandon.
All right.
Take her away.
The Striking Vipers, special ops arm of the Pyrrah military, and 1/4 of the teams under Captain Yurzen find themselves recovering at the battleground of Fort Cavin. Here soldiers train to become knights, surrounded by a multitude of dragon and giant bones. Tents of rough blue leather are stretched across huge draconic rib cages. The skulls of giant humanoid creatures sit upright, no bottom jaw, serving as housing for higher-ranking soldiers. The Vipers find themselves resting in one of these now, having taken a beating from a possessed treant in the surrounding woods known as the Saltus. Before bargaining with the ghost who had taken over the doomed treant, it babbled on about the Serpent King. A loud bell rings sharply through the fort 3 times, piercing the mist of the morning. For now, breakfast.
I'm gonna.
Fucking shoots up in his bed
I'm gonna.
at the sound of the bell.
Okay, so you guys are in a big, giant skull. So this skull is about the size of an average apartment building, or like the first floor of a house if it's not a big house. So there's enough room for you guys to kind of mill about in there. The rest of the soldiers that sleep in here, it looks like there's 5 beds. There's 4 of you, including Tyrrell, so
Yeah.
There's an empty bed. There's a fire pit in the center that has gone out.
Empty.
I'm gonna
bed.
approach the fire pit and stir it up, and hopefully get some coals going, and throw a small log on it.
Okay.
Is it cold out? Is it like fall time?
Yeah, it's fall time, so it's a little chilly in the morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a small fire going while I smoke a cigarette and eat some gruel and make some coffee.
Okay.
I'm going to walk out of my little section of the skull with my cloak draped around me with I assume like I have an arm in a sling,
Okay.
and walk out, sit down, pull a wooden pipe out of my pack, and then just start smoking some pipe weed.
How are you
You
feeling?
can smoke Randstag's special weed. You still have that.
I only smoke that on the weekends.
So the
When you know you
bell
have
that's
nothing
ringing-
else to fucking do for the rest of the month.
Yeah. So this bell that's ringing is the bell you guys all know. Let's figure this out real fast. Bucky, you trained at Fort Cavin, so you're familiar with this.
Yeah.
Zoison and Tegan, have you guys been to Fort Cavin before?
No.
Yes, but only passing through.
Okay. And then Tyrrell, you probably haven't been to any military forts since you're not part of the military, so this is kind of a new experience for you.
Most likely. Although, since we're in the morning, since it's the morning and he started a fire, can I brew up some alcohol?
Do you have the means to brew alcohol?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Start
Like, does a bear
brewing
shit
up
in
some
the
booze
woods?
in the military.
You want me to roll anything?
What is it? A brewer's kit?
Yeah.
Yeah, your proficiency bonus. Hell yeah. Or well, whatever he says.
I don't remember if I'm proficient in it or not.
You're a drunken master. You should be.
I was gonna say, I think if you chose the thing, then you're proficient in it. If you just bought the kit, then you're not.
I don't remember how to see if I'm proficient in features and traits. Proficiencies, I'm not proficient in it, but I got it.
Okay, so you start pulling out like bottles and a little keg and some yeast and stuff to try to brew up some alcohol, and you take a look at it and you're not really sure where to begin with it. But you can roll a 20 if you want.
I didn't buy
Take
it,
a-
it just came with me.
Can I roll a
Just
22
a
since
stab
on
at
the
it.
battlefields of the bloodfields of Ishtar, we
Bloodfields of
probably
Ishtar.
brewed our own alcohol?
Yeah, you can roll. Or one of you guys can roll a 20 with advantage, so whoever wants to roll it can.
I'll roll it.
Yeah, roll it with advantage. I'll help out.
Is Tegan awake right now?
Oh, good thing.
Yes.
It's a 16.
Yeah, you
Tegan
start
is
brewing up
awake.
some
He's
alcohol.
just been sitting off to the side.
I'm gonna study my spells
gathered.
and prepare the appropriate spells for today. I'm gonna do that real quick.
I'm going to walk over to Tegan, and I'm gonna, out of pocket in like my cloak, I'm gonna pull out the bottle of blood Bail gave me, and I'm going to go up and be like, "Well, Tegan, I assume you know what this is." Holding it up to him.
It looks like blood in a vial.
Bet you 20 gold I can make Tyrrell think it's alcohol and get him to drink it.
That sounds like a losing bet.
I, to be perfectly honest, don't know how a bird's olfactory senses work. It. You may trick him, you may not. Although it looks like it
vampire
might
bird
have
would
been
be
a
funny.
gift. A vampire
It
bird.
was. Oh, yes, I didn't tell you. This was a gift from Bail.
I was going to say, it looked like a very ornate bottle for just having blood in it. So, Lady Bail gave
Is that
you
your
a
chance I
vial
made
of
that
her
for?
blood? So, Lady Bail gave you a vial of her blood?
Yeah, as a gift because she likes me, I guess. Honestly, I've had half a mind to drink it to gain some extra power for during battles since I've been dying a lot, or almost dying a lot.
Well, to be fair, if you drank it, you would be dead. Well, undead. Technically.
Dead, yes, but
Deadish.
Dead adjacent.
I'm only mostly dead.
I'm not dead yet.
Clearly said to
I
blade,
feel
which means to
happy.
bluff. Well, then I don't know if I would waste it on Bail. Or, I mean, on Tyrrell.
Yeah. It'd be funny, though.
Kinda.
Actually, having a
I don't think
vampire monk might actually be have decent.
I was gonna say I don't know how having a vampire monk bird would pan out, but whatever.
But no, this is why I think it would be funny. A bird with vampire fangs. Just picture that, Tegan.
Darkwing
Tegan,
Duck.
just picture that.
Darkwing
It would
Duck.
be hilarious.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck.
That
Well,
was
you're about to
that
see
was
Darkwing
before
Duck
my
when he drinks
time.
that blood.
If I decide to do it,
Let's get dangerous.
I feel like I should roll for. But like Tegan, you want to take the bet?
You don't need to roll for it. You can ask him if he wants to take the bet.
No, why would you
ask
do
him.
that?
Because it would be funny.
I mean, sure, I guess it's your vial of blood that was given to you by somebody who cares for you, apparently.
You can always
But
get
what
another one.
I don't want to be a vampire. What am I gonna do with this? And then when he's like,
I
"What
don't
the
know.
fuck is happening to me?" I can just be like, "It's just a prank, bro."
So you guys are having this conversation loud enough that Zoison and Tyrrell, you guys can roll to hear. You guys can roll a
I'm
perception.
brewing. I'm brewing.
I got a
Okay,
19.
so-
Disadvantage.
I got a 19.
Okay, so you overhear this conversation as well, Zoison.
I mean, I can. What the hell is it? Is it perception?
I am
Yeah,
by
perception.
no means trying to lower my voice or anything.
All right. Perception 3 and one more. Which one's lower? Yeah, that one.
Yep, Tyrrell,
That's
you
the
are
lower
busy
one.
brewing and you're drooling down your bird beak, smelling this
Here's-
alcohol that's starting to percolate.
Here's Peanuts mumbles. Wah, 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 wah.
So you guys spend about an hour discussing things, brewing alcohol, eating your gruel. At a certain point, about 20 minutes into you guys being awake, a group of 2 soldiers comes by and they have like trays with food on them. And they open the door. They don't knock, they just enter and bring these trays of food and set them in and then give you a military salute.
Mm.
Do I recognize them?
Yep. Yeah. The dog. The dog.
Yeah, this is the Pyrrah military symbol.
Yep.
I wave.
Would I roll a history?
You do not recognize them. These look like young, fresh faces.
Yeah.
You haven't been to... You kind of cut your teeth at Fort Cavin, but you haven't been here in a few years at least.
You know, some of the higher ups, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Okay.
the higher ups, we should probably go because is this the place where we're meeting the person, right?
Yeah, this is where you're meeting the King's Envoy.
Okay.
I'd like to go check out the forges, see if a certain person I know is still here. Get some help with this adamantine sheet of
Okay.
mail. Zoison, didn't you say you wanted something made out of it?
Out of what?
The adamantine sheet you helped me steal.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would like something made out of it. Maybe a buckler or.
Didn't I get you a whole bunch of fire dragon serpent scales too?
Yeah.
Well, I can probably make you like a... Because what did I say I wanted to make out of it, Brandon? Adamantine chainmail
Quaff.
shirt? Like a shirt?
Did you want to make a shirt or did you want to make a... There's enough to make probably one shirt.
I thought we said it was big enough so that I could make myself a shirt and then have enough left over to make Zoison something small, like a head thing
Okay.
or a
Yeah, that sounds fair.
chainmail loincloth.
So for our listeners and those watching on YouTube, there was a group of hags that had turned Zoison back into an Eladrin elf after a mishap at the Forever Fair. As they were leaving, as our players were leaving, they saw a big adamantine sheet of chainmail hanging over a statue covering it. And at the last second, after the witches had gone back into their homes, Zoison just grabbed it off of their sheet and just booked it. and stole directly from these hags.
Yeah,
Gave it to me so that I could forge something from it.
Forgery.
Yes.
So you guys wanted to make your way over to the forge?
I do. I don't know if anyone else does.
Sure. I'll follow with my freshly
I'll go.
brewed.
I'm actually going to head toward where I would know the officers' quarters are going to be, or the office for Fort Cavin, and go discuss what is upcoming with the King's Envoy.
Always the bureaucrat.
What can I say? We got shit to do over here.
As we leave our dragon skull quarters, I point Tegan in the direction of the officers' meeting place.
All right, so this fort
it's that way.
This fort is not walled in. It's not a particularly huge fort. There is a citadel sitting in the center, which is where Buchenwald points you to. The citadel has a giant crystal dragon skull in front of the doorway, and then the rest of the citadel looks like it's built out of the bones of creatures. So it's like a weird bone citadel of some kind. And he points you in that direction.
When you get there, ask for
Awesome.
Captain Tima and tell him I sent you.
Captain Timo?
Tima.
Tima.
He's a dragonborn with black scales.
All right. Captain
You'll-
Timo. Will do.
Probably notice his outfit before his scales, though.
Fair enough.
Is it very flamboyant?
Yes. So he does that. I'm going to make my way over to the forges.
All right, so Buchenwald, Tyrrell, and Zoison, you head your way over to the forges. There is, for a military outfit, there's typically 3 forges set up. There looks like there are 2 more than when you were here last time, Buchenwald, set up, and there's just piles of swords cooling that they're making for the war effort.
Put on one of those, or I'm going to get out a piece of that asbestos that we got from the fire giants and pick up one of the hot ones and examine it.
Okay.
And I'm going to look at the smith and be like, this is good work.
The smith looks up at you and he says, Buchenwald, is that you?
Do
It's
I
me,
recognize-
Lawrence.
Oh, shit! I go up and with like the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, just like the you son of a bitch grab. How goes it?
Good, I'm the head blacksmith here now.
Well, damn. And to think, you could hardly forge a nail when you got here under me.
I'll
gonna
nail
turn-
you.
I'm gonna turn to Tiro as he says that and go, "That's his ex-boyfriend."
Can I roll to hear that, to see if I hear that?
I'm whispering.
Yeah, no, you're too busy catching up to hear that.
Was
Oh,
a
no,
13
you got a
hit?
13. A 14 had to hit it.
I
You had
heard
to get
mumbling.
14.
If you had rolled
Yeah, I
a
was-
20, it would have needed a 21.
I
Oh,
was mumbling.
okay. I turn around and I say, Zosin, Tyrrell, this is Lawrence. He was my apprentice as a few years ago when I was still stationed here.
I'm gonna reach out to shake Lauren's hand and go, so that's what they call it, and look back at Tiro.
Lawrence shakes your hand and looks like he hasn't caught up with the joke, so he kind of just politely smiles and nods as he shakes his hand.
I shake his hand as well and be like, it must have been hard being under him.
Oh, he worked me like a dog. You wouldn't believe it.
I got uncontrollably giggling.
Like limp over to Zosin and then just punch him right in the gut.
What?
Because I know it was you. I've traveled with you and fought with you long enough to know how you are in these situations.
Well, anyway.
He probably said some shit like we were gay back then or something.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
And
there's
I've
not.
told you time and time again, it's okay for you to be that way. And I
Yes, but
support you.
I'm not. That's Tegan's thing. I'm
It's
the dwarven
okay.
blacksmith.
We're
He's
all
the gay
friends
elf.
here. We're all friends here. It's okay.
The Gelf.
Yeah, he's the gelf.
I'm gonna explain to the other two. He's a little embarrassed. It's okay.
Anyway,
Lawrence looks entirely confused by this entire situation, and he's kind of half smiling and just looking back and forth between the rowdy monk and Zoas the Mad Dog and Buchenwald, just eyes going back and forth, smiling politely.
does
Lawrence.
Lawrence know why I got promoted, or like what I got promoted to?
Yeah, I assume so. He was your apprentice up until recently, or up until a few years ago.
Up until I left. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Lawrence. We have some rare items. We were wondering if you have come far enough in your craft to be able to work with such materials.
What do you have to work with?
I'm gonna look at Bucky.
I have this sheet of adamantine chainmail. I'm hoping to get a chainmail shirt out of it that will fit me, and then a head coif out of whatever's left for my elf friend here.
You take where you have the sheet wrapped with two big thick pieces of leather to keep it from flopping and unrolling. You take it and you unroll the sheet, and it's, what'd we say it was, about the size of a bed sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's about the size of a bed sheet, and Lawrence's eyes go wide, and he looks at it and he says, "Holy crap, where'd you get that?"
Well, we're on an adventure.
Under Ellisberry.
Yep.
We had to deal with some tags that had a couple
I'm gonna talk loud over him.
Okay.
We got it along our travels, Bucky.
I'm going to look at... Okay, I look at Zosan. I trust this man with my life. He saved my life during the Battle of the Bugbears here.
Okay, alright, fine.
Is that your blood fields of Ishtar?
Battle of Bugbears. That's my blood fields of Ishtar. I'm trying to think of a cooler name for it, and I can't.
Hey,
I told you to call it the Feral Invasion.
Nothing
He saved my life during the feral
field.
invasion of Fort Cavin, you bitch.
Nothing,
I trust this man with my life.
Nothing will compare to the blood fields of Ishtar, but I understand. Go ahead.
I was wondering if you could help me take on this task. I was hoping you were still here.
I think I could make chainmail out of this. I'd have to use some special tools because chainmail or adamantine's a little harder to cut, but I think I could make chainmail out of this. Probably take me 2 days.
Well, gonna be like working under me again because I'm gonna help you.
Oh God.
I'm gonna elbow Tyrrell.
I snicker.
I pull out a dagger and throw it at Tyrrell's chest.
What the?
Roll for damage.
Can I roll?
Yeah,
Can I roll to stop this?
No, Tyrrell has deflect weapon or deflect arrows anyway, so
yeah,
you just catch the dagger and throw it back at him.
Can we just wait? Can we each roll a d20 to see what happens?
I don't have to roll. You have to roll damage.
Yeah, he doesn't have to roll. He can just do it.
Yeah,
You have to roll to hit him.
Okay. I don't have a dagger though in my inventory stuff.
just use your longsword.
No.
I'll throw a hand axe at him. How about that? I'll just throw
That'll
one of
work.
my 2 hand axes at him.
So you're legitimately throwing a hand axe at Tyrrell?
Yeah.
Okay, roll to hit him.
I'm not wanting to hit him, by the way.
Well, then
What's the-
why are you throwing it?
What's the minimum damage on that?
It's a 1d6 plus 4.
Oh yeah, I instantly catch it.
Okay, so you throw a hand axe in the direction of Tyrrell. You're not aiming specifically to connect with his chest or anything. You're throwing as like a disturbed or a perturbed
Just to
warning.
scare him.
And he reaches out, he kind of sidles halfway out of the way and just catches it in the air.
Yeah, you need to do more than 14 damage for me to actually start rolling dice.
I have to say, that was impressive, Tyrrell. Now, you two go fuck off and do whatever you were going to do.
All right, we're gonna fuck off out of here. I'm gonna fuck off out of here. I'm walking out.
Wait a minute. Zosan, get back here.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna stay then.
I pull a thing of
The fuck?
I pull a thing of like calipers out of my pack and like quickly measure his head.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Thank
okay,
you.
you can go now.
I appreciate it. I'll walk out.
Yeah, You better fucking leave, dick.
I'm gone, baby. I'm gone.
So angry. So angry.
Hi, you should show him the scales of the fire serpent.
Yeah. And then I look back to Lawrence, reach in my pack. What do you think we could do with these? Do you remember how many there were?
An entire fire serpent worth.
Okay. I pull out an
there's
entire fire serpent's worth of
There's a
scales.
shit ton of like big. They're about the size if you can picture like a megalodon tooth.
Yeah.
Where they're like maybe 6 to 8 inches long. These scales are about that long. They're about that big.
Stacked like playing cards.
Yeah. You just make it rain scales as your make me some armor. He takes the scales and he looks at you and he smiles and he says, "Man, you have been on quite an adventure so far."
Actually, hey, may I interject?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so also I have as I get outside of this forge area, I do want to I need to go back in and give them the lava serpent teeth and see if he can affix it to the hilt of one of my daggers to make it like I can stab with it like a sai. And then I also have the lava serpent horns if he needs any of that to work with. And 1 second. I have some other possible stuff he could work with.
I bet you do.
Oh, yeah.
Why'd you say it like that?
Oh, I have to ask him real quick. Lawrence,
Yeah.
are you aware of where the artificers are?
Yeah, they're down with... Oh, where's his name? They're down with William.
Okay, I'm going to head that direction. That's where I'm headed after, and then you can get to me whenever. I'm going to head towards the artificers.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you want to hang out here, Tyrrell, or are you following Zosin, or what do you want to do with your free time here?
I don't really have much that I can do.
I think he should stay with one of us because didn't it say non-military members aren't allowed unless they're Dragonborn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have kind of skated by so far since you came in last night and then it's the morning time, but you may have to deal with some fast talking, so it's probably good that the civilians stay with one of you.
I'll probably go with Zosin. The forge doesn't interest me much because I can't wear any of it anyway.
You can't wear it or drink it, so who cares?
Yeah.
Zosin, you have 3 mil with you as well.
Okay.
3 mil has been following you along. Tegan, Lloyd the Bard has followed you.
Okay. And what about the cat?
Oh, Zosin, you have your talking cat too.
Yeah, I just haven't summoned him yet, but yeah, he's following me around.
Okay. You can, because he's your familiar, this is something, Brim, I didn't tell you. I kind of changed up the
Retconned?
Zosin thing a little bit. Yeah, I retconned
Okay.
it. There we go. Where the cat is Zosin's familiar. He doesn't have to roll for it to try to get it. It's just his familiar now.
Okay.
So,
It's his familiar, he decided.
yes.
How'd he get it? It was
Whatever
super easy.
works.
Barely an inconvenience.
All right,
Kick in
so
the can.
Tegan, you continue to walk down the dusty pathways in the morning, and it's a little chilly, which is a nice break from Ellisbury, where you came from the volcano city.
Mm-hmm.
And you head towards this big citadel with a giant dragon skull out front covered in crystals, and Lloyd is just asking you question after question about the military, and he's writing
Okay.
down your answers in his notebook.
Okay. I answer him with as much knowledge as I can muster that is also not giving away any specifics.
Okay.
And while I'm doing that, I'm trying to think on, is there any is there anything specific that I have to do in order to make sure that Lloyd and Tyrrell will be okay in our care as far as being in the fort goes? Because, I mean, I know that they're technically not allowed to be in here, but Tyrrell is a conscript, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He has become a guide or a hired hand, and then Lloyd is fucking Lloyd. So I guess he's a conscript too, because he's writing down our adventures.
Okay, so you can assume that you'll need to get the approval of a higher ranking officer.
Okay. So that's really that's kind of what I thought, and also the reason why I am heading to where I'm heading.
Okay, so as you're walking, also, now that breakfast has kind of died down and you guys have gone and taken a little bit of a walk towards where you want to go, you see that there are knights who are starting to don full plate gray armor with helmets with like spikes going down the center of the skull. And it looks like they're starting to train in this big heavy armor, which you guys know, or Tegan, you know from your short time here that knights train here, as I mentioned in the intro. So it doesn't look like they're at war or anything. This is just typical war games.
Yeah, it's better. It's one thing to start your training not armored, but the further you get, the more you want to be armored. That way you can get used to moving in it.
Lloyd nods as he writes this down, and he says, "Man, you're smart."
Well, I've been...
It's the first time he's ever heard that.
I've been in the military all my life. Not this one, but...
I'd like to talk to you more about that sometime, Tegan.
I don't like to talk about that too much.
When you were in the military before?
Yes, when I was in the Orkinray military.
What? You were in the Orkinray military? His cigar drops out of his mouth and he reaches down, he picks it up and brushes the dust off of it and pops it back in.
Yes. I was originally a prisoner of war. And I was for the other side until I got over here.
This is going to make the greatest sonnet of all time.
Oh, God.
Like I said, I just don't want to talk too much about it.
And Tegan, the turncoat. I'm still workshopping the term turncoat, but we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you might want to keep working on that.
And you make it up to the center of the citadel. Yeah, of course. Classic Tegan. You make it up to the citadel, and the dragon's mouth, this one has the lower jaw, and it's wide open. And where the center of the jaw would be, like the lower teeth, has been carved out to make an entranceway. Outside, there are two knights dressed, and both of them have what look like big dogs on chains. Or not chains, they'd be on like leather. Big dogs on leather leashes. And these dogs stand about 3 feet at the shoulders, and they're about 6 feet long.
It's DMX.
Nice.
Give me a second and I will show you a picture of one.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Is it a dread wraith? It's probably a dread wraith.
They look like that. They are blink dogs.
Fucking blink dogs.
For some reason, I remember those being a pain in the ass to fight.
Yeah, they teleport all over the place.
You think theirs are a pain in the ass? Fight some displacer beasts.
Mm-hmm.
All
right, I walk up.
Ishtar.
Yeah.
I walk up to them and give the salute.
They give the salute back and they say, "Are you here to see the captain?"
I most certainly am.
One of the soldiers motions for you to walk through the door, and he says he's right through the door.
Very good. I look over at Lloyd. Stay out here.
But How am I supposed to write what happens?
It's like if he was left through the door.
I immediately put my hand up and just cut him off.
Okay.
And then I walk in.
All right, you walk through the doorway, and like I said, this is a big citadel built out of giant bones. It looks like as you're walking underneath the dragon skull and seeing kind of the inside of this building, this was like a church of some kind at one point, like a wooden built church. And then it was all of this accoutrement has been added onto it. You also notice that the teeth of the dragon skull has ribbons tied all along the teeth going down, multicolored ribbons. Some of them have like little tags hanging off of them as well. And you walk through the doorway into the citadel, and it's nice arched roofs, wooden inside. The bones that you can see from the outside you can't really see on the inside except maybe through the window. And you see a large black scaled dragonborn. You see his back, and he's wearing a red tunic of some kind with a big blue belt across his waist and a cape with the Pyrrah military symbol on it, of course.
Okay.
And he is singing.
I need to put that somewhere up in the thing.
What's he singing?
Oh, maybe I should replace your little ribbon with the Pyrrah military sign. Sorry.
He's singing.
He's singing? Okay.
Yeah. What's he singing, Ram?
He'll be coming around the mountain.
There you go. Steam engines may not exist in this time, but let's go.
All right, so he's singing, she'll be coming around the mountain.
White horses. 6 white horses as you come.
I thought there was a part about trains in there. I don't know. Maybe there isn't. I don't think so. Now that I'm singing it in my head, thanks for that.
Ain't that fun?
And he goes on for a good 3 or 4 minutes with his back to you. And you can see that the people that he's singing to are kind of politely watching him. And a few times they make eye contact with you, like to acknowledge that you're there. But nobody moves to do anything.
I make no movement to acknowledge that I'm aware that they're looking at me. I just stand at ease, awaiting to be addressed.
Okay.
Attention.
So he finishes singing, and then one
4
of the
hours later.
assistants... Yeah, 4 hours later.
4 hours later.
One of the assistants leans up and whispers to him something, and then he turns around as dramatically as a person can turn around. Imagine, like, hanging out with somebody in the Actors Guild who was in character who turns around. He turns around, and he puts his hand under his cape and whips it around him as he flips around. And he looks at you and he says, "One of the striking vipers, I presume."
I give him the salute. Captain Tima?
Heavily gives you the salute, and you notice as you're staring at him now that he has a sash across his chest with just medals. Probably 10 or 15 medals pinned to his sash.
Okay.
I am Captain Tima, yes.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you are?
I am Tegan Morley.
He holds out a hand to shake your arm.
Just shake your arm, not your hand.
Yeah, one of these.
Yep. Yeah, one of those.
You son of a bitch.
You guys do one of those, and you notice that he moves in a very fluid way as he talks and he interacts with you. This guy seems like he's a natural-born actor.
I imagine you know the reason the Striking Vipers are here.
Oh, because of the envoy, of course.
Indeed. Is there any other information that we need to know for the upcoming meeting?
They're supposed to be telling things to the captains, and then he motions to himself with a big flourish, he motions to his chest. To the captains, of which I am one. Thank you. And he does a little bow. And he says, "From what I understand, and this is just between you and me," and he kind of leans in a little closer to you.
Okay.
And he says, There's talks of war. There's talks of ratcheting up the war with the Orkinray military. Right now, it's just been skirmishes. As you well know, you naughty boy.
What?
Indeed. I mean, as far as it goes, it's really no secret that I was originally part of the Orkinray military, at least with like captains and higher ups and stuff.
Yeah, that was my thinking too. Like your average soldier probably won't know it, but
yeah, any captains that I have dealings with, I mean, it's a potential hazard. You never know if I'm like a double agent or a spy or something. But I've proven myself well enough over the past few years. So, so the skirmishes are heightening then.
Yes. There was an attack on East Haven that we think was the Orkinray military. We're not sure, but there was some explosions underneath the city.
Interesting. What do I know about East Haven?
You don't really know a whole lot about East Haven. You know, it's one of the major cities in the Pyrrah military, in the Kingdom of Pyrrah. East Haven is one of the 8 major cities.
Okay.
But you are not familiar with it. You know it's a nice city, but besides that, you've never been there.
So, were we actually given the reason why we needed to talk to the envoy?
No, just that the envoy had requested the Striking Vipers personally.
Okay.
Yep.
And do we know why the envoy requested the Vipers personally, Captain?
Because we're a crack team of bad muff.
Other than the fact that we're a crack team of bad motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You're asking me? I'm not privy to that sort of information.
I just didn't know if you would know since it's happening within your fort, sir. Well, I do have a couple.
With why they asked you. Yes.
Very good. Well, I do have a couple of other points of order that I would like to address. We have 2 hirelings that are not military. I wanted to let you know, that way we could either do the proper paperwork or however you handle having non-military personnel who are accompanying a military battalion or scout party. Whatever we are. I forgot. Forgot how that worked.
Yeah, I can't remember what the official title for you guys is.
Special operators.
Yeah, that's been so long ago.
Special operations unit is technically what we are.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the question? You got really windy on what you were asking me.
Lloyd and Tyrrell. He wants to make sure they're okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. You're the Striking Vipers. If anybody asks, just tell them the captain team has said it was A-okay. And he gives you a thumbs up with his big black-scaled dragonborn
big black dragony
fist.
thumb.
The biggest, blackest
this big?
thumb.
It's a big fist. You notice that he has blue nail polish on his big dragonborn claws as he gives you a thumbs up as well.
Cool. All right. Well then, sir, if there's no other information that you can give to me, aside from when the estimated time that the convoy is supposed to arrive, then I will continue back toward the others of my unit and let them know.
The convoy is scheduled to be here in 4 days.
Okay. We made very good time for as much adventure as we've had. Oh,
yeah, you'll have to fill me in perhaps over dinner tonight.
That's what I was going to say. If you would like a debriefing on what we've been through, I'd be happy to either write you a report or discuss it over dinner if you would like.
Absolutely. We have entertainment tonight, so we can discuss it in the captain's tent.
Very good, sir. I stand at attention.
He stands at attention and gives you the salute back.
All right, and then I take my leave.
All right. Zoason and Tyrrell, you guys were heading to see the artificers.
That's correct.
Sounds about right.
So they are in a giant skull, and whenever I say giant skulls, there's actually like the skulls of giant humanoid creatures. So the dragon skulls look like they're made more for like the higher up captains, and then the giant skulls are there for like the lower ranking soldiers.
Okay.
And then the tents over the rib cages are for like the grunts who sleep outside in the tents.
Right on.
So you kind of wander in the direction, and then you notice that there is a commotion going on outside of a building. There's like smoke pouring out of the eye holes of one of these giant skulls.
I got
And you can see.
Oh, good.
Oh no! Tell me what you rolled first.
I rolled a 4 plus my perception, which is, I believe, a 5 or a 7. So 9 or 11, not very high.
Yeah, you don't see what's going on. You can see where the smoke is pouring out of the eye holes. You can see the telltale light of fire inside as well.
Mm-hmm. Like uncontrolled fire or like a forge fire?
Like uncontrolled fire.
Oh. I'm going to look at Tyrrell. Should we head that way?
It could be interesting.
All right. Well,
Tyrrell, with your perception too, you don't see anybody moving inside.
All right,
There are people. Okay, so you run towards there. There are people outside, and they look like they have buckets, like they're making a chain of buckets from a well that's about a block and a half away. And they're just passing these buckets of fire. They're passing these buckets of water down the line and slowly heading inside the building to put out whatever the fire is.
Okay.
We don't need no water.
I can actually. I have a cantrip that is, I believe, is like a create water. 1 second.
Yeah, give me 1 sec too.
Grab a beverage and possibly pee.
Although I do have a question. Aren't these Dragonborn?
I don't know. I think
Do
some
they
of
not
them.
have wings?
I think some of them are Dragonborn. I don't think all of them are Dragonborn.
I was gonna say, do they not have wings? It would actually be quicker for them to fly a block and a half to pick up water and then like do an aerial brigade.
I take it we took a break.
Yeah, I guess he went to go grab a drink, I believe.
Gotcha.
Can Dragonborn fly?
No, they do not have wings.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense then.
Mm-hmm. Dragonborn.
Isn't that a racial feat that they can get wings at a certain level?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at the Dragonborn.
All right, so what were you looking up, Ethan?
I have a control flames, and one part of it is extinguish flames, and I believe a 5 or 10 foot area. So before I do that, though, it's a cantrip. Before I do that, though, I want to run up and get a closer, get right up on it and see exactly what's going on. If we need to fight a fire, or if everything is okay and under control.
Okay, so the fire is coming from the second floor of this building where the eyes are. So you have the first floor entering through the mouth, and then you go upstairs that are built into it, like spiral stairs on the edge of the skull that go to the second floor where the eyes serve as windows.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of move into the first floor 2 feet, and the smoke isn't choking from down here. The smoke has risen up, so it looks like the fire has started on the 2nd floor. There are soldiers inside, and they are moving up the stairs with this bucket of water and trying to extinguish whatever is on fire.
What's going on here? I'm going to shout to them.
One of the soldiers turns and he gives you a head nod and he says, "Alchemist caused a fire, blew something up."
Okay, I'm gonna run up the steps and grab one of their buckets if they'll give it to me. Is the whole room ablaze, or do we just need to get through a corridor, or what's up?
You go up the stairs, and this is like a big open room, almost like a loft. And you see that there's a big alchemy set cooked up, like almost looking like a meth lab. Like, it doesn't look like all legit equipment. It looks like some jury-rigged equipment as well.
What I'm going to do is toss the bucket, and as I toss the bucket as well, after the water hits, I'm going to also use control flames to extinguish in the area that it allows me to extinguish.
Okay, so the fire is pretty centrally located on the table itself, the alchemy table, and that's where that's predominantly where the smoke is pouring from. There's like a beaker with a thick brown liquid that looks like it started to bubble over, which is causing smoke, and the table itself is starting to burn more as it's a wooden table. So you throw the water on the fire, and then you use your control flame spell and extinguish the flames.
The flames, the control flame spell is going to be me like waving my hand in one big motion, and as I do, like blue tendrils are going to go out, and I'm going to say the one phrase of it, which is "Kasa Pata," and then it extinguishes the flames.
Yeah, and it looks super awesome as you put the flames out too. The flames, which are raging, are starting to get a little bit more serious, shrink down like turning off the starter on a gas stove, and the flames just kind of die out. And you see, as the smoke starts to empty out of this room, you see a small dwarven woman laying on the floor, and she's kind of struggling on the ground, and she has like a bookshelf over top of her.
Tyrrell.
I go to help lift up the bookshelf with him.
Yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
both attempt to lift this bookshelf.
All right, roll strength checks.
I got a natural 1.
Tyrrell got a 20.
Well, good thing I did. I slip and fall.
Yeah, you slip in the soot as you're lifting up the bookshelf. Your foot is like your heel is in some soot, and you kind of slip. And Tyrrell catches the side that you had dropped and just lifts it up by himself.
Nice.
And I use my foot to catch Zosen. I'm doing this all in one foot.
Just catching everything.
And you see the dwarven woman stops writhing, and she stands up and she looks at you and she says, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while." To you, Zosen.
Do I recognize her?
You better.
I was gonna say, you don't recognize that voice?
You don't recognize the voice?
I do recognize the voice. Is this the one that was in Rustwater?
It is. This is Enoch, the alchemist from Rustwater.
Knock, I have those snails for you.
Oh, that's a weird time to come and bring them, but yeah, sure.
I mean, you can never, you never really can tell when I'm going to run into you, but we just gathered them under a volcano, so we did what we could. What'd you do here? What happened?
You really think giving her lava spiders is a good idea right now?
Nails.
Lava slugs.
Well, she asked for them.
Yeah.
I'm working on something for one of your teams, actually. The Catalyst.
Oh, yeah? It's not Triton's Trolls, is it?
No, it's the Catalyst.
Oh, the Catalyst. Okay. Well,
Oh, yes.
yeah, try not to burn the place down next time. Can you point me in the direction of the artificers?
Oh, yeah, they're actually down through the basement.
Okay, and by the way, you owe me and Tyrrell one, and I'm sure we'll be back to collect on that here in a day.
She nods and she says, "So you want to give me those slugs?"
Yeah, sure. I'll give her the slugs that we collected.
All right. She inspects them. They're a little bit dried out at this point. They're still alive and slimy, but they're starting to dry out where they've been in your bag.
Yeah.
So she takes them, and they're, would I say they were like fist size or bigger than that? They're pretty big.
This size, yeah.
And she takes them and she starts setting them on the burnt table. And she says, "You did a really good job with this. Did you get any other ingredients?"
What did we get? The tongue of a cow or something? Or the tongue of a four-legged beast?
Yeah, I think you cut out the tongue of a bulette.
Yeah, that, yep. Give her that too.
All right, she takes that as well, and then she pulls out from a pouch a small dagger about this big, so about a foot and a little bit longer, and she hands it to you, and she says, "This is for a job well done."
Okay, I'm gonna look at it and examine it. What's it look like?
It's a thin dagger, but at the end of it, it looks like almost one of those flat butter knives, but sharpened. So kind of like it has a straight razor look to it.
That's cool. What's it do?
Oh, that's for getting stuff from animals.
Okay, so it's a harvesting knife?
It's a harvesting knife.
Okay, all right.
Is it a harvesting knife?
It's a harvesting knife.
Is that a harvest?
Holy shit, I think he has a harvesting knife.
It's got a +9 against harvesting.
Oh, tuck it away. So, well, we'll be back to see you here real soon.
All right, I'll be here. I'm meeting the King's envoy too.
Excellent.
Well, thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm going to go ahead and head down where she directed me towards the artificer's area.
I'll follow
All right,
him.
so
There's still
that
smoke in the
harvesting
room,
knife?
actually.
Yeah.
Is there windows?
Yeah, the eyes of the skull are the windows outside.
Am I able to beat my wings fast enough to blow the smoke out?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, you beat your wings, and the smoke kind of swirls around you and then starts to get forced out of the windows. The harvesting knife, Ethan, gives you a +10 to your medicine checks when you're trying to harvest from animals.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Nice.
Sure, our crew will be able to use that to great effect.
Nice. Well, I figured since you're cutting off like the teeth and scales of everything you come across.
Why not? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
waste not,
So
want not.
You head down to the basement, and these are like wooden/mud stairs, so it looks like they were carved out of mud, and then wood has been slotted over them to make them a little more secure. And you head down, and it's getting warmer as you head down these stairs, and you go about a story downwards, just a straight hole that looks like it was dug, it wasn't natural. And you get to an open door, and inside you hear the sound of like hammers hitting and dials spinning and things beeping, stuff like that.
I'm going to walk in and look for the most important personage in the room.
You see a average size human. He's balding, he's kind of paunchy, and he is dressed with like your typical artificer gear that you would imagine. So he has like the goggles on, and then another pair of goggles bigger over on top of his head.
And on the back of his head, an even bigger pair of goggles.
Yeah, he's 3 goggles deep at
And
this
then
point.
he's wearing like spectacles that have different lenses flipped up and down, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he's giving directions to the other artificers. So he looks like he's the one in charge.
I'm going to walk up to him. Greetings.
He turns and he looks at you and he says, "Mad Dog?
Yeah, yes it is.
Do you remember me?"
I'm going to roll because I don't remember him.
Okay. Yeah, this is somebody you haven't met before. This is somebody from your past.
12 plus, what do I add?
Add an investigation
Okay.
as you kind of study him. We'll say you're investigating him by studying how he looks and talks.
Ooh, I get a 7. 19.
19.
Yeah, 12 plus 7. My investigation is excellent.
He says, I'm the Kraken. Right as you remember that you served a short term at the Bloodfields of Ishtar, which I've named the Jasmine War.
Yeah, nice.
So the Jasmine War, the Bloodfields of Ishtar was where the tides of battle turned for the Pyrrah military against the Minotaurs of the Shunad Empire to the south.
Okay.
Say that 10 times fast.
Shunad Empire to the south.
And
Southern Shunads.
so what was his name again?
His name is William,
We'll
but
call him
everybody
Kraken.
knew him as the Kraken. He was on the Bloodfields of Ishtar. There was what turned the tide of battle was like this giant bronze griffin that was made that was animated, and it would fly over the battlefield dropping fire and raining fire almost seemingly endlessly from its stomach
Nice. Hey,
in like giant mushroom clouds of explosions.
I'm
Kraken.
just eating a lot of Taco Bell.
It's been a while, Kraken.
It has been. How are you holding up?
I'm all right. I'm glad to see you made it out of the Bloodfields. I do have a point of business for you, though. I'm glad you're here because I trust your abilities. I'm gonna pull out my 2 silver arms. Do you know what these are?
You drinking hot sauce?
Do you know?
Yeah,
what
those are extra arms, right? Like to
Yeah.
be attached to a body.
Yeah, I need them attached post haste. I know it's a mid-level job, but I really need them. We're about to go on a dangerous mission.
Let me roll to see how long it will take him.
Oh, I thought that was the character talking.
No.
3 minutes.
4 days.
4 days.
Works.
That's the exact amount of time that you need, though.
Okay, that works.
It'll be a dramatic thing. Zealison disappears for 4 days in the deep dark recesses of the artificer's basement.
What?
Their mother
Right
is
in front of
serving.
his mom's
Their,
house.
I need
their
them
mother
attached.
is serving cakes. I like how we all went to a fucking mom's basement.
Mom, I need more Cheez-Its.
Where are the Cheetos?
I told you I'll go to the store later.
Bring me my pizza rolls. Bitch.
You
So-
can
Bring
have
me
a
my
Mountain
pizza
Dew.
rolls.
So the Kraken says it'll take him about 4 days, not on and off. Or it would be on and off to do this over the course of 4 days. He wouldn't just be
No, 4 days
splayed open
fucking
for 4
straight.
days. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll return for the final surgery when you tell me it's time.
It's painful. I'm just going to warn you. It's going to be painful.
I am quite well acquainted with pain.
No more painful
What is he
than
getting
serving on the
surgically
blood
attached?
fields of
I'm
Ishtar.
gonna- yeah, as I pull up my sleeves and they're just arms are covered in scars, torso's covered in scars.
He looks in your eyes and he has like that 1,000-yard stare and he nods and he says, I know the feeling.
So I should return to you on the 3rd day.
Return on the 3rd day and leave the arms with me.
All right. I'll leave the arms with him.
All right, so
Do you have anything to help my friend Tyrrell here? He's going to be in the midst of the dangerous mission as well.
well, I have jumping boots, but he's got wings, so I don't think that'll help him too much.
Well, I don't know if they can see that yet.
I
I'm
might-
kind of like
I might have
tight up in my cloak.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I'll take off my cloak, and then do the hero pose.
He looks impressed at you and he says, well, I do have these jumping shoes, but with the wings, I don't know how much they would help.
He probably also noticed that I make no sound while walking.
Are you one of the members of the Striking Vipers?
No, he has his own patron.
Oh, hang on, inventory. Where is it? It is equipped. It should be equipped. There it is. Yeah, it's Fiora. I point to the brooch, and it's obviously Fiora, Alice, yeah, Dueling.
Okay.
So, do you need these jumping boots, Tyrrell, or should we give them to someone like Bucky, who doesn't have a high jump?
Probably should be given to someone like Bucky.
Or
I say as I walk around the room and still make no noise.
Well, how much for these boots, Kraken?
If you're willing to test them out, I mean, if you're willing to wear them, then you can have them.
Okay.
We need somebody out in the field to use them.
All right. We'll bring back a report, hopefully, or send a message of a report.
He gives you the Pyrrah military salute again.
A salute back.
All right.
Nanu.
Then I'll exit and try to find Tegan.
I see Tegan walking by the forges, and I hail him over here.
All right, Tegan.
Tegan.
You are hailed by
You
Buckenwald.
don't know me.
I prefer if people snow me back over instead of hailing me. Snow doesn't hurt as much.
Tegan, we've been fighting things for a while now, my dude.
Just assuming I'm walking by forges? Who the hell do you think you are?
It's a
my
small
mom?
area. Yes.
I don't even want to go to bed, Mom. There you are.
As he's walking over, I just have a chisel and a hammer, and I'm just breaking links on this sheet of adamantine mail.
Where are the others?
How? They went off toward the artificers. How'd things go with the captain?
Everything went well. Tyrrell and Lloyd, I point back behind me because I assume he's there.
Oh God, please take him with you.
Down.
Unless a fucking blink dog
loving
ate him,
it.
and I'm okay with that too.
I like those blink dogs while I was here.
But yes, they are okay. The convoy will be here, or the envoy will be here in 4 days. He doesn't have any more information as to why we were requested to be here to meet them. And I kind of lean in close to him and say, the captain says that they are ramping up the fight against Orkinray. That the skirmishes between the two armies have become much more heated.
That makes sense. Did you
But
mention
he
anything
leaned in-
about that Orkinray ship?
The
That
what?
Orkinray ship we found under the Elven ruins in the caves?
Oh no, no way. That's our ship.
No, yes, but
Didn't
I feel like
Well,
it
we told-
should be known
we
that
told
it was
we told
there.
we told Yurzen about that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
So what'd
he's
you-
our direct commanding officer.
Yeah.
We have to listen to Tima too, but he's our direct commanding
Yeah.
officer.
I don't. What'd you think of Tima?
He is a flamboyant fella.
Yes, he was. Insane bastard. I'm allowed to say that now. I'm not directly under his chain of command.
Well,
by the
don't
way,
say it
this
too loud.
Oh, go ahead, Bucky.
Before you go off, I wanted to introduce you. This is my old apprentice, William. He's now the head blacksmith here.
I give him a nod and a salute.
It's not the only thing he's head of.
Damn it.
He gives you a salute as well.
All right.
Do you have anything you'd want made? Because this isn't going to take us 4 days to do between the shirt and the coif for Zosin.
No, I don't believe so. I think the only thing that I would need would be some more specialized arrows, but I don't know if, number one, that's something more artificers and mages can do, unless forge masters who may or may not be magic users themselves.
Could I see one of those slod crystals?
Sure.
I
hand one
I
over
had
to
an
her.
idea for something. I wanted to
I think
see.
Tegan has
I
all
wanted
of
to
them.
study this between working on this adamantine stuff.
Did we meet?
I had an
Of course.
idea. I wanted to.
Did we
see.
all meet up?
No, you're still with the
No,
artificer.
you guys are. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to say you walk out and
Well, we were coming to
guys
find.
over here.
We were coming
Okay.
to find them. Yeah.
Thank you, Ilias, for the follow. Appreciate you. Since Brandon stepped away, I guess I can acknowledge chat for a second.
Yeah.
Hi, chat.
Yeah.
Paul,
There
are
isn't
you
really
there?
anybody
Hi,
talking.
Paul.
There's just watching.
Paul, if you're watching, hello. Also, hello, Cole, if you can hear me.
Paul Atreides? Does he have the
No.
spice?
No, it's my friend, Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
That's a hell of a name. That's a good name.
It is.
that is.
It
That's-
is.
That's a solid chat name right there.
Yes, it is.
Dragon Ball Z _ because apparently
Yes.
somebody already had the forethought to have that.
What were you wanting to do with the slot gem, Bucky?
I was curious if, because I assume it's like a real rough crystal.
It's actually very smooth.
Okay. I was wondering if there would be a way I could refine it at all to maybe make it more effective with the antimatter rifle.
Yeah, because the antimatter rifle isn't effective at all right now, right?
No, I know. I wanted to do some, I just wanted to do some experiments, see if, heating it up changed the properties, or if I could shape it into something more, I don't know, just shape it into something that could have a different effect with the antimatter rifle.
Like maybe
A posi
maybe
matter
even-
rifle.
Sure.
Maybe even cutting it up into smaller pieces and having
Yeah.
less damage per shot, but having more shots to have.
right.
Chain gun antimatter rifle.
I'm gonna take the crystal. I'm gonna put it in a thing of tongs and then shove it into the pile of coals in the forge.
It
And
explodes.
just kind
I'm
of
in-
wait a minute.
As soon as he does, I am immediately going to walk about 100 feet away.
Yeah.
Good call. Bucky, roll a dex save.
My eyes go wide and I immediately walk very briskly away.
17.
17 is good with your +2. You drive this gem into the lava or the heat of the forge. Would it be lava or what would it be in a forge?
It would be either coal or charcoal, and it would just be a mass of hot, coals at the bottom. Like after a campfire burns down,
Uh-huh.
it would be like that, but a lot hotter because of the bellows that are
Okay.
helping push air through it to make it hotter.
Okay, so you drive this down into the soot and the coals, and as soon as you do, you feel your hands start to vibrate, like
Could I pull it out real
very,
quick?
very fast. And the tongs, even with the glove that you're on, the tongs get ridiculously hot.
Do I have a strong pull-out game though?
You do apparently, because you pull out the jewel with your tongs, and then it goes and explodes. And you shield your face from it, and it explodes. Not huge, but enough that it draws the attention of people around you. And you look at Lawrence, and he has some small cuts on his face where the gem shattered and across his face.
That's
I'm
the
sorry,
force
Lawrence.
He's used to.
What are you gonna say? He's used to me exploding on his face.
Oh God!
Fucking asshole.
He says, "What the hell was that?"
This was
Tasted different.
a gem. Get out. It's a gem that comes from the inside of a slot. I have a few of the pieces just in my hand now that I've picked up. They go to this weapon we found a long time ago. And it's quite effective, a long-range weapon that Tegan uses. I was curious if I could maybe refine it in some way. I guess not. Or at least by no means heat.
Not with heat, you can't.
Oh,
look
no.
like anyway.
Well, experiments are the thing, I guess. I'm gonna pull a health potion, because we have a bunch of health potions, right?
How many health potions
No,
do you
I
guys have?
thought we were
Communally.
like out.
Oh,
I think
Yeah,
we're getting pretty
but-
low.
okay.
Yeah, we were real low.
Okay.
You pull out a health potion for a second and then think better of it and put it back in your pack.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lawrence.
Yeah, I was gonna help you, but nah.
Sorry, Lawrence, get fucked.
I'm gonna
All right.
I'm
This time, Zoison and Tyrrell find Tegan as you guys are wandering, kind of heading in the direction of where Tegan might be.
Did we hear the
And you hear a
explosion?
small explosion.
We hear an explosion. That's gotta be Bucky.
I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna walk up to Tegan and say, "Why did you give him one of those gems?"
I didn't expect him to immediately stick it into a forge.
Well, expect the unexpected with him. Oh man. All right. Well, I've got some good news here, Tegan. I'm gonna hand him the boots. Might want to try these on.
So these are big brass-looking boots. They almost look like Uggs, but instead of fur at the top, it's like a band of metal with like wing nuts and things sticking out of it. So when you put the boots on, Tegan, as you're looking at it, you realize that to put the boots on, you would just screw the wing nuts, and then there's a like cushion inside that closes,
Okay.
so the shoes fit you.
Put these
And
on.
then at
Okay.
the bottom, there's like where the soles are, it looks like there's a space with a very compressed spring.
Hmm. I don't really wear a lot of armored stuff. Bucky is probably
Well,
more suited to wear
These are less about armor and more about jump.
Yeah, I mean, I can jump pretty well.
Okay. All right. Well, we can give them to.
Also,
Bucky,
I'm not
but
keen
I'm afraid
on-
he'll stick them in the fire and attempt to refine them in some manner.
Well, I'm going to lean in close to Zoison. I'm also not super keen on putting large pressurized springs under my feet.
All right, Bucky, it is then. You give them to Bucky.
Sure.
Okay. Are you done over there, Bucky? I'm gonna yell.
As I'm picking up the shards of the crystal, I'm like, yeah, it's fine over here. I'm not gonna do that again.
Oh well, good. Yeah, learning through doing. Love it. Well, hey, you might as well just throw those shards out. I'm pretty sure they're useless.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of shard left.
Pretty
Most
much.
of the
Yeah.
shard exploded.
Yeah, but like the few I found, I'm like examining them in my hand.
It almost looks like those rocks that you would put at the bottom of a fish tank, like a very smooth stone. Where it shattered into perfectly round pieces.
So it just looks like a smaller version of the original thing.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Tegan.
It cloned itself.
It's a blob.
You have an idea.
Oh, God.
Does it involve you sticking them into the fire again?
No, it involves you doing something with them.
Oh, he's gonna break our antimatter rifle.
Try shooting these out of the antimatter.
Oh, don't do it, Tegan. He's just gonna break.
I don't
the
think they
antimatter.
do as much damage,
think he's gonna break it.
But if we could do this, this again in a controlled way, we'd have more ammo.
Can I roll a knowledge arcana to see if putting something like that in would break the antimatter rifle?
You don't really have to do that anyway, because if I remember correctly, the way that Brandon described it, the antimatter rifle actually crunched up the gem and used it that way.
Yeah.
There's like an orange size hole that you put this gem into, and then you crank it on the side.
Yeah.
And it like grinds up the gem into dust, and then that's what it uses to power itself.
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll to see if this would damage it, or if these would actually be useful?
Yeah, you can roll a knowledge arcana.
Dude.
Only because there's nothing better to roll for antimatter rifle information.
I am just killing it with the 19s, either natural or whatever else. But hold on, let me get my actual arcana. Okay, that makes it a 26.
You, like, breaking it down, you just don't understand how the antimatter rifle works. Regardless of your rolls in arcana, you don't understand how it works.
Okay.
But you can comprehend at least that because this thing shoots necrotic energy, and these gems come from the dead bodies of Slod, like that they've been removed from, you probably need the entire gem to power a shot.
Okay, that's what I'm going to relay to them.
Couldn't hurt to give it a try, though. Worst case scenario, it just doesn't work.
No, worst case scenario, it breaks the rifle, but we could try it. I mean, sure.
Well, as I was just getting ready to relay to Buckenwald, the gem gets destroyed in the process anyway. So just putting a smaller shard in it is just going to give it less fuel to do its thing. Regardless, I'm not going to try it here in the middle of the fort.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's an archery range outside.
Maybe as
to beyond the barrier.
Maybe as a last-ditch efforts.
Yeah, but shouldn't we know that it's going to work for that last-ditch effort in case it ever comes up?
I have no problem trying it, boys. There's no sense in arguing over it.
No,
I'm just not
I
going
hear
to do
you.
it right here.
Go ahead.
Lawrence says, please don't try it here. I'm way too sober for that.
Don't worry, we'll go to the archery range if we do.
Anyway,
are you okay
now
with
that everybody is
chainmail
together,
stuff? I kind of want to see this happen.
Yeah, everyone's together.
He is extremely sober.
Yeah, he is extremely sober. As you guys walk out to go to the archery range, you hear him say under his breath, now where did I put that?
Wait, who said what?
Lawrence said, now where did I put that, as you guys are leaving?
Oh,
Meaning the anti-chainmail?
No.
No.
hey,
Did you
also,
happen to read the chat, Brandon?
Bucky.
Do what?
Did you happen to read the chat?
Yeah, I read the chat. That's why I said that.
Hey, Bucky.
Yeah.
We did get a pair of boots for you at the Artificer if you want to try those out too.
Okay. I think I put them on. These just feel like normal boots.
Yeah, we'll try and jump.
No, they don't feel like normal boots at all. You have to screw them onto your legs.
Well, yeah,
Not
but
like screws going into your legs, but like I said, there's a padding inside.
I know
the
it.
screws.
I know what you mean. I'm just gonna roleplay that I don't notice what they are yet.
Yeah, they're
I just
very
think
heavy.
they're a weird boot. I just think they're a heavy, weird boot.
Yeah, it's got like the weight of like wearing steel-toed boots, but all over the boot.
Okay.
And
I mean,
you put
they're a
them
little
on.
bit heavier than normal, but other than that, I don't see anything up with them.
Yeah, try and jump. Give me a jump.
Should I roll in athletics for this?
Well, you notice as he says this that it feels like there's something in your boot. Like in your right boot, it feels like there's a bug or something. There's like something on your big toe.
Okay.
While you do it,
Are these
can
those-
you yell, please, sir, or, but sir, I have all the cream I need when you do it?
I'm going to. I see like a stump, not too far from the little blacksmith area we're at, and as I'm just gonna walk over to it and take a Mario Yahoo
Okay.
over it.
Roll a dexterity save. Or no,
Okay.
roll an acrobatics. This would be to catch yourself. Okay, so here's what happens. You wahoo over the stump. You land on your right foot, which presses the thing that was underneath your
Okay.
right big toe.
Okay.
So you wahoo normally, like a normal jump, nothing spectacular. And then when you land, you click this button in the boots, and they spring up like cartoon style and hurl you 10 feet into the air.
Speed racer. Speed racer carjacks.
Yeah, exactly. You fly through the air and land on your back.
I immediately run over to help him up, and Brandon
Yeah, roll for it.
at the same time.
Okay. All right, so you don't take any damage, Bucky.
Okay.
But it does knock the wind out of your chest, and your arm that was in a sling hurts.
Fuck, that hurts.
They're
It's cool though.
They're boots of jumping, so if you get in any trouble,
I realize that.
you're welcome.
What's Tyrell taking from me that I don't know about?
Oh, nothing.
They're boots of springing, just springing.
Yeah.
Not springing and striding, just springing.
So these boots will allow you to jump an extra 10 feet.
That's pretty badass.
Do you think 10 feet is too low?
Yeah,
You
maybe
think I should do higher, or is 10 feet pretty good?
Decent.
15 would
For a
be
dwarf,
cool.
that's a decent amount.
15?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that'd be cool.
I was gonna say my suggestion would be maybe have him do a strength check along with it, and whatever the number is, give him an extra like 5 feet for every 2 over.
Yeah,
he
but that's
has or
so
something.
much work.
And that's so
Okay.
much to remember.
Do you remember when we did our Dwarfapult rim?
I do.
Probably not, huh? Oh, you do?
Yeah, of course I do. Why
figured
would I
that would
forget
be-
that?
Because you have a shit memory. I figured it would be lost in the recesses of wherever you put your memories, wherever you stuff
I
them
mean,
into.
when I have to do like fucking basic physics in order to figure out how something that we made up worked, I tend to remember it.
All right, so you guys have 4 days in the fort to do whatever you want before the King's Envoy gets here.
Okay.
Okay.
How do you want to
so-
spend your 4 days?
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
I want to fill everybody in
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
first of all. Tell
Let
everybody
me
that
fill my
the
drink while you
Are
fill
you gonna
everybody.
film a crevice?
sure. Yep.
Crevasse.
Yep, that's all I'm gonna do. Yep. I'm gonna fill everybody in about what Captain Tima told me.
Okay.
The envoy coming on the 4th day, the increase in military transactions
Pensions.
between Orkinray and Pyrrah.
Did they give you any sort of examples or just generalities?
No, all he knows is that it seems like they're ramping things up a little bit more. He didn't
Okay.
have any specifics to give me, or that he was willing to give me.
Any sort of area that this is happening in, or just all across the borders?
Nah, just I think where the skirmish is. He did say that there was the city of crap. I forget what it was called now.
It's okay. But one specific city you did mention.
One of the bigger of the 8 larger cities of Pyrrha had
Okay.
some explosions happening underneath of it. So
Okay.
that was peculiar. What was that city called again, Brandon?
East Haven.
East Haven. Thank you.
Okay.
East Haven. It just came to me.
Excellent.
So
Yep.
I
Okay.
think most of the time I spend is going to be brewing alcohol and making
Well,
containers for them.
there's actually something else going on here too. If you recall our trip into this fort, I had to bargain for our lives on the road after we had a battle. There's some sort of serpent king terrorizing the roadways. I believe I have an idea of who we can go talk to about this. If you guys are interested in checking it out.
We've got 4
I can
days.
do that as well.
Okay. DM,
Yeah.
I'm going to head towards a group of Dragonborn that I just see out and about in the fort that look like either pilgrims or soldiers or someone who looks like they stick around this area and have been here a while. Can I find something like that?
Yeah, you see there are Dragonborn. There's not a lot of them. And you see some of the Petrov family, which were the Dragonborn that you rode in with, that effectively rescued you guys.
Or we rescued them.
Well, you guys rescued them, and then they rode off and got the military.
Oh,
to rescue
okay,
you guys.
okay.
So it was a mutual rescue,
Okay.
rescue-bation. And yeah, they are outside of the citadel, and they are tying ribbons to the teeth and adding to the collection of ribbons that are tied around the teeth.
Okay, well, I'm going to walk up to them with the crew, if they'll follow, and greet them. Greetings.
The male Dragonborn who was who had silver scales turns to you. You remember his name is Bogrov.
Bogrov.
And he says, "Greetings, Vipers."
Yes, glad to see you made it safely, Bogrov. We've taken care of some military business, but now we'd like to actually know who might have some information on the lore of this area here, since it's a holy site for the Dragonborn. Is there a lore master or lore keeper or sage in this fort that works on behalf of the Dragonborn that might know the area and its history?
Well, what is it you're wanting to know? I'm pretty well versed in the history of this area.
The enemies we fought, spectral and otherwise, they were minions of a serpent king. And we just are trying to find out if this is a regular occurrence, or if this was just a freak accident, or if the serpent king is an actual being, or if it's just a fairy tale.
Well, in our history, the Serpent King rules all of the Saltus. The Serpent King is the ghost of the battle itself that happened here, the holy battle to my people.
Was there a certain general that became the Serpent King, or?
No, we don't know who or what the Serpent King became outside of a manifestation of the battle itself.
Are there any shamans here of the Dragonborn, or any magicians of the Dragonborn here? Mages?
No, we're just pilgrims.
No, I mean, not you specifically. I mean, is there anyone that lives in the fort on behalf of the Dragonborn that looks out for their interests? Maybe a lore keeper or a historian, even if not a magician?
No, if you look around and you notice, there's not a lot of Dragonborn in the military. We're still kind of mistrusted since the Jasmine Wars.
Well, there's no even like consul on your behalf that makes sure the pilgrims are treated okay?
No, there was a concordant a long time ago that allowed us to come here.
Okay. Is there a leader of the Dragonborn society in the area? Even outside the fort?
God damn it.
Or are you all like homesteaders with the loose confederation that don't really have any sort of elders?
Well, we're farmers by trade, as are most of the Dragonborn in this area. We come from Axadrecia, which I've heard you served there as well. I asked around during the Jasmine War. You fought the Shunod Empire.
So
we follow the rule of the Kingdom of Pyrrah. We don't have any sort of major Dragonborn cities around here. We're typically homesteaders.
Okay. Are there any elders in your communities?
Yeah, you could probably talk to Dust Eye.
Who's that?
He's one of the elders of the community. He comes by. He's not here at the fort, but he comes to our homestead quite often. He visits for dinner.
Okay, he doesn't really visit the fort at all? Not even to pay his respects?
No, he's too old to travel anymore. He doesn't travel very far. He lives relatively close to us.
Lives relatively close to the fort?
No, to our homestead.
Okay. How far travel?
About 30 minutes.
Well, I think that might be worth going to check out. What do you guys think? I'm going to look to my crew.
I'm down to clan.
From where you guys are, you would have to leave the Saltus completely. So you would be looking about 3 hours to get out of the Saltus to their homestead.
Okay.
To like the Petrov's homestead, and then from there it would be 30 minutes.
What do you
So
what do you
3
think?
hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like a quarter day's travel.
I'm fine with it.
I mean, we have.
I
axe
don't have
beaks,
any
too.
plans to do anything, to be honest.
I mean, I say we go speak with this Dust Eye and see if we can figure out what that was all about.
Certainly.
I'll send 3 mil to go get our axe beaks. Hey, buddy, 3 mil. Tink, tink, tink. We're gonna give him a loving tap.
His eye spins open and his arms and legs pop out. Yes.
Hey, could you go grab our mounts?
I will find them and bring them to you.
We're gonna go grab some potions real quick since we're low from the girl who we gave the snails to, and then we'll meet you right here by the front gates if that's okay in a couple minutes.
Yes, that will work.
Oh, by the way, Tegan and Bucky, we met. God, what's her name? I'm sorry.
A knock.
Anak is here, and we delivered the slugs to her and the tongue of the four-legged beast, so we can get some healing potions since we're low and then head out if you guys are ready.
Ah. Sure, it would be fine to see a knock again.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to say hello.
Okay.
Lead the way.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. Gonna head off towards Anak.
You head off towards Anak. You go back to this building, or to this skull building. The eyes where the windows were are kind of blackened from the smoke and the fire. And Anak is down below as you walk into it, where the artificers are, where the stairs go downwards and then the stairs spiral upwards to the loft. Anak is there and she's unpacking things now, as there's a small bedroom off to one side. And as you walk in, she waves happily at you and says, "Oh, it's the Vipers.
Hey, Anak.
What can I do for you?"
Well, we would have put out the fire regardless, but we're in a little bit of need here. We got into a fight with some very vicious spectral monsters outside of the fort who serve the Serpent King, and they hurt our friend Bucky here, and they hurt Tegan as well, and we've used up all of our healing potions. We kind of need to restock, if at all possible.
Of course, I have 5 on me you could have.
Yeah, what kind are these? I'm going to take one of them and swirl it around.
It has like a cinnamony smell to it, and it's got like little sparkles inside of it. And these are just your basic healing potions. Like whatever healing potions you guys have been using, that's what these are.
Okay.
2d4 plus 2.
Okay. Yeah, we
Standard.
2d4 plus 2.
throw those in our inventory there, Tegan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have anything a little off the beaten path as far as potions go? Anything special or strange you might have been working on that we could pay you for?
I have something that I've worked with. Really, Rim?
Well, I muted myself for the stream, so they just saw my mouth open wide.
Your giant mouth gape open.
Yep. I yawned, everybody. I yawned.
Lawrence 2.0.
What is it, like a polymorph self?
No, you drink it, and you can breathe lightning for 10 minutes.
Whoa. Excellent. How much would you want for that?
For you, 25 gold, and the promise you won't tell anybody where you got it from.
Sure. Do you have any antitoxins?
She's rifling through a duffel bag, and she's pulling out empty vials and full vials, and she's looking, and she says, yeah, I've got an antitoxin. I only have one, though. I use it when I travel.
Yeah, we might need that, not knowing what's coming. And also, do you happen to deal with any potions that, I don't know, deal with, I know this sounds strange, but, well, we vanquished the holder, didn't we, guys? I'm going to look around.
Yes.
Never mind. We're
Apparently.
good. We're good. Is there anything else anybody else wants to ask about?
I really just want to know what you're doing here, Enoch. I thought you were stationed at the other town.
Oh, I'm not a member of the military. I'm just a friend. I serve the military as a mercenary almost. I wouldn't call myself a mercenary exactly, but I supply potions and stuff for the artificers and the catalysts specifically, although they're not here right now.
Ah. I see. I guess I assumed that you were with the military.
No, just a friend.
I pull out a bag full of very carefully packed glassware and ask if she needs anything for potions and the like. I have vials and...
Okay. I'm always interested in more vials and glasses. What are you selling it for? And she motions to the package that you have with all the glass packed into it.
Make an offer. I'm good.
It looks pretty finely made. I could give you 30 gold for it.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
All right, she hands you directly 30 gold.
Okay. I'm just gonna end up putting it in the group pile afterwards, and I hand her the glass.
Okay, she takes the vials of glass. As far as D&D goes, guys, I'm gonna wrap up here in a minute just because I'm super tired and I think everybody's kind of getting...
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I slept like poo, so...
And,
yeah, so did I.
can we fast forward, skip, talk to Dust Eye, or you want to save that for next time?
I'm gonna save that for next time because Dust Eye was something I just made up on the fly, so I've got to get some information here.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so we're done.
Slow episode.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All good.
They happen.
Maybe when we start next, we can do the Dust Eye thing and then be 4 days ahead.
Yeah, that was my plan.
Okay.
So when we begin next session, you guys are going to talk to Dust Eye, figure out whatever it is you want to ask him. Ethan, if you can get me like a general idea of the kind of stuff you want to ask him ahead of time before we play next,
for sure.
so I can get it written out.
Yeah. Well, here, I can give it to you right now. I was going to ask, I was going to ask Dust Guy. I was going to ask Dust Eye what exactly the Serpent King was beyond the general description we were given, and if it's a problem that needs to be solved, or if it's just something we had to pay as a toll. As outsiders who aren't Dragonborn. Like, if it's something that the Dragonborn see as a good thing, we don't need to really deal with it. If it's something that is malevolent, excuse me, then I was gonna, see if everyone wanted to pursue possibly taking it down, and if not, we'll just move on and get my arms attached and go to the next mission.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you guys too, what do you think these arms that Zoison gets should do? I was going to make them so you got an extra attack as a bonus action.
Yeah,
since you have an extra set of arms.
I'm pretty weak, honestly. Like, my damage, melee, and even magical is relatively weak. So I would be cool with that, honestly.
I'll tell you the idea that I like. Not only can it be an attack, but it would be almost like a spell storing attack. So bonus action, but he could store it.
Well, he already has the rapier that he can store.
Yeah, I have a rapier of spell.
This is true. Yeah, but I mean, now you can store.
I was just thinking
spells.
Maybe, yeah, that's true. Well, I was thinking like an extra attack seems right, but also I was thinking maybe like once per day, instead of using it as an extra attack as I could normally do in a round, being able to cast a offensive spell and then a status spell, like 2 in 1.
Okay, so being able to cast a spell as a bonus action as well?
Yeah, but not like an offensive. Only when I'm casting an offensive spell, I can then cast like maybe a mage armor too, or nothing like crazy, like 2 fireballs type shit. But.
So dual casting, but a support spell and an offense and a defense spell,
and maybe have that be like a once a day thing, not just a once encounter, but once a day type deal.
Okay.
But even I would be happy with just having the double attack or the extra attack, because I don't do a lot of damage at all.
Neither do I. It's kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
Shut up.
No, I really don't.
What? But you don't do a lot of damage, but you get like 15 attacks.
Yeah, see, I get 1 attack and it's like a D8.
Yeah, but you have all your sneak attack damage in there too.
Well, but I don't really get that, and it's only at 3d6 right now. But like when I look at what Tegan
only 3d6.
You can get that a whole lot more than you realize. Like, it's pretty much.
I know.
Anytime. You just gotta put yourself in the right position for it.
But when I look at like Tegan, like he's sharpshooting for like 40 to 60 damage, like I would just like to have 1 extra attack to be able to keep up.
Okay.
I do a maximum of 10.
With all your attacks?
No, with an attack.
Yeah.
Well, but you can do like flurry of blows and stuff too, right?
So I can do a total of 40 damage.
Oh yes.
If I max roll everything.
So if I max roll everything, I can do like 12 damage.
Well, you are a mage, so I mean.
Well, but most of the most is the rogue. I only have.
And you should be doing sneak attack damage.
Well,
easily.
Yeah, I just haven't had a lot of fights that we get into. I'm trying to balance it out. We're working on it.
There you go, doggy.
Basically, what it sounds like is you guys should make better characters.
Yeah, I'm sucking.
Yeah.
But hey,
The next character I make is going to be a bard.
I just want you to know.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm kicking ass.
I didn't immediately use those arms. I waited a good while, so I'm excited to.
I have good damage output. My defense is just shit.
Yeah. Well, defense is shit on characters until they get higher level anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and part of the reason that Bucky, you seem to die so much or seem to get close to death so much is, as the tank, I have most of the monsters that are like semi-intelligent but aren't super intelligent that know to take out the wizard first are gonna go for the most armored, biggest threat first.
Okay.
And that's kind of the support. That's kind of the role that a tank plays. If you had some healing or ways to like heal yourself back up and continue to fight, that would be good.
Yeah.
Or
I do. I have second wind, but that's like I don't want to. I only get one action for short rest, so I don't.
Or think about this. Think about this. You now have jump boots. You can jump your way 10 feet away from them to get out of the.
So in theory,
that would be an attack of opportunity.
Would it?
Yeah, that's not a disengage.
Well, but he could use his bonus action to disengage and then use the boots, right?
Yeah.
Well, he'd have to use his movement action as a disengage. Yeah, it's not a bonus action.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically to disengage in battle and use your boots, that would be like a flare thing. Those boots can come in handy like anytime you need to be able to jump really well, but you disengaging and using the boots would be more of just like something you describe versus something that would help you
flavor text
mechanically.
Yeah.
Well, but like, let's say he's running across a bridge that's collapsing. He boom jumps that extra last 10 feet. I think.
Oh yeah, exactly.
All right. That's
really,
cool.
Really the thing to keep in mind with your second wind, Bucky, is most of the time when we have one. I mean, Brandon surprises us sometimes, but most of the time we only have one fight.
Except the last session, which was like 3 fights.
Which was like 3 fights, but it was also high stakes. So
yeah, for sure, it was good. I liked it.
So you definitely don't want to be afraid to use some of those things that you can use every day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry this was kind of a slow session. I'm freaking exhausted.
It's
I understand.
It's cool.
Man.
It doesn't matter. You just have those.
The roleplay episodes are fun.
Yeah, we got a lot of things done as far as characters and what we're doing next.
We don't have to be murder hobos all the time.
Exactly.
Next session, Zoison and I will have some cool adamantine armor pieces.
Yeah.
I try to balance. I try to do a session of roleplay and then a session of combat. That's my general, and I don't stick to that every time, but that's my general rule. Not an entire session of combat, but try to throw combat in at least every other session.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Since D&D at its core is like a board game combat thing. Like there's all kinds of role-playing involved, but when it comes down to it, the majority of the rules are around combat.
Well, yeah, that's because you don't really need rules for Theater of the Mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, hey,
just loose
Brandon,
constructs to stick to.
Yeah.
If you could make my adamantine item be in like plates for my forearms instead of a coif, that would be cool. Just so like if I ever needed to, I could attempt to like a buckler. Just one buckler would be kind of cool.
Or like, what are those called that go on your arms, like right here?
Like bracers?
Yeah, bracers.
Bracers, yeah.
So like reinforced bracers with chainmail?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you would put chainmail on a buckler, would you?
Well, no, I was just thinking like plates, like if you could make it into a thin plate of adamantine on
what you could do is you could make leather bracers and then line the inside of them with the chainmail.
That's cool. Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah, we'll get it all.
Think of something I'll say I make for you like that.
Yeah, right on.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up then.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody who stuck around and was watching in the chat. We will see you next week, yes?
Yeah, big things on the horizon.
Also,
Next episode's gonna pop off.
I'm probably going to jump off of here and edit last week's up just slightly and get it pushed out to YouTube. So if you haven't watched that yet, you can currently watch the unedited version in the VOD from last week here on Twitch, or I will be publishing it over on youtube.com/Dueling Ogres, and it'll probably go up on the website as well. So thank you all for watching, and keep your clubs blunt and your tusks
He
sharp.
says bye.
See ya.
Puppy says bye. I have to say bye with the puppy every time now.